Hi guys, I'm Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and today we're going to be playing with the pop-up 3D vignette road trip from Spellbinders. This is the amazing paper grace for the month of June, and if you've watched my channel for a bit, you kind of know that I love this kind of die set. I don't do a lot with the vignettes. I've done a couple and those have been cool, but what I'm talking about is the little cars. I absolutely love those. They make such fun cards. This time it's going to be the entire card, and I went ahead, would you believe, a few days ago I went ahead and cut out all of the pieces so that you wouldn't be stuck here while I am just grinding through my die cutting machine. And having my die cutting machines on my desk and having them small enough definitely helps. So another thing I do want to make sure that I have out in front of me, and I had it, is the instructions. You will need the instructions that come with your, here we go, that come with the die set to know what everything is and how it all works. And although I've already cut everything out according to the instructions with a tiny tweak here and there, you do want to make sure you have that, because otherwise you're not going to know how it goes together. So let me go ahead and dump all of this fun stuff out and try to keep it kind of sort of a little bit away. So I've got this central area to work with. And I'm just checking my little bag, and there's nothing left in there, so hopefully I've got all my pieces. If not, I can always recut a couple of the teeny tiny things. So first thing I'm going to do is the windshield. That is this little guy. I'm going to basically go through the instructions step by step the way that it is written. So that's going to be really easy for you to be able to do at home. So I'm going to just glue this together. They recommend having two. The reason that you want to have two is, and excuse all the ink, I changed the printer ink on my Canon inkjet today, and it looks like the replacement has a leak, so I got to take that one back to the store and hope that they will give me a new replacement. They recommend that you have two of these because you're going to have one for the front of your card, for the front of the car, like in this image, and then you're going to have a view from the back. So you want to be able to, you don't really want to see this brown, so we want to, and this is just some, you knew I had to go with shiny red, but this is just some Recollections foil cardstock, so anything would work. You don't have to use foil, but I do love my little red shiny cars. After all, if mine was clean, that's what I drive. Got my little red Miata convertible. This one doesn't look like it's a like it's a Miata, but it is a convertible. I think that is super fun. So first I'm going to go ahead and just adhere these guys together, just using my art glitter glue and lining everything up. And art glitter glue is awesome. It holds really nice and strong, and it also gives you a little bit of wiggle room so you can get everything lined up just perfect. So that looks pretty good. So now I've got my windshield done, and you could, if you wanted to, cut out a piece, cut out the same basic shaped piece and put some acetate in there to make a shiny one. Okay, so that was number one. Actually, number one is all of the pieces and assembling everything. So I'm going to go ahead and just get moving because I kind of know where everything is. For the vignette part, cut out 3 of this shape. So that is going to be behind our vehicle, inside our vehicle rather. Here is the front and the back. They are both the same, and the only difference really is the things you put on front of it, on top. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and do the front of the car, assuming I have all of my pieces. So we've got the bumper. You've got a couple little pieces that go to give it a little bit more dimension on the bumper. So those will go here over the top. And got some tires, and we've got actually four of this this shaped tire. So you've got them for the front and for the back. I'm going to just work on the front piece right now. And I know what everything is, but I have to find it all. So here's one of the lights. And then we've got the light up part of the light. Oh, I'll go ahead and adhere that one together. That's probably more glue than what I need, but this does dry clear, so we should be good to go there. So there's that piece, and then there's this little oval. And it's probably a good idea to put the adhesive on the mirror cardstock first to give it a chance to dry, because I do know that things don't necessarily want to stick to that part of that cardstock. I love my mirror cardstock, but that is one of the drawbacks. And when I'm talking about mirror cardstock, I'm talking about the stuff from Spellbinders, which is the silver. The Recollections is basically cardstock that looks like it has foil placed on top of it. So it doesn't really do as well. So this is one of the back lights. And here's my other front light. Here's another fun piece. This is the grill of the car. So basically you cut this out twice, one with an insert and one by itself, and then you just adhere these two together. I'll go ahead and get that done while those headlights are drying. And these kind of cards are just so fun. I mean, there's so many possibilities. And I haven't tested the sizing to see whether or not any of the characters from the other sets would fit, but we'll have to see. Here's another little piece. This one goes on the hood, so that's our hood ornament. And that would go basically here where you would have your trunk, on the back. It does have a couple of score lines. I think that's good for lining everything up. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these other pieces down too while I'm waiting on these other pieces to dry. Your bumper. And I'm going to put it right about here, kind of framing the back of the car pretty nicely. Then I can put my grill on. Oh, I had it upside down. That's another reason to have a picture over here. That way you know exactly where it's supposed to go. I'm going to go ahead and put my little lights on. I think the light part of my headlights is dry enough. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on over here and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we have the front of our car. Actually, I want to go ahead and put on my little wheels also. So that's kind of sort of straight. Put the other wheel under the other side, just to the outside of that bumper. So here we go. There is the front of our little car. Now I'm going to do the same kind of thing, but do this one for the back, starting off with the lights. Now it's got a little red, a little silver piece here is for the lights, and then I've got a lot of tiny little red foil pieces that go on. And there's actually, I believe, 4 per light. So let's make sure that I didn't lose any of those. Yep, I have them all. Yay! So now I'm going to start gluing these down. I think the easiest way for me to do that is to put a little bit of glue onto the mirror cardstock and then use my jewel picker to place them in place. So next I'm going ahead and looking at the bumper again. So the bumper is the exact same thing as what we did before on the other side. So I'll go ahead and put some adhesive on the back and then mount my bumper onto my car. Okay, and then I can add the extra little bits. So now we've got our bumper and our tires down. Another fun piece. There are sentiments in this one, and it basically comes in the form of a little license plate. So here is the shape without the sentiment on there, and then I cut out of that silver mirror cardstock this one, and luckily for me, I just think it's awesome. You don't have to do it this way, but the words stayed in. So that means that this is going to basically look like it was like a stamped, a metal stamped license plate. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that together too. And it would look really cool without that, everything staying in, but I just thought, oh, this is too cool. And for my car, I decided to use Road Trip. So this one is going to be a road trip. It's not going to be like a wedding card or anything like that. Although there is a sentiment in here for that, and that is pretty cool too. And if you look at the pictures, it's got a little bouquet and everything, like it is the bride and groom heading off for having just gotten married. It's got, yes, just married, enjoy the ride, and road trip are the three sentiments that come with this set. And I just wanted to use road trip. I think that is pretty cool because you know what? We haven't been able to go on any kind of a road trip in quite a while with everything going on in the world. So this is going to go basically right across here, but we're going to have a spare tire. So I have got a spare tire here, and just need to glue that together. It comes with all of the pieces, and this has got one of those old school white walls. So this is going to be a white wall tire. So just get everything centered together. A lot of this isn't going to show because of course we're going to have that sentiment over the top of it, but it's still cool. And there's a center ring here and a circle to go around it, like a ring and a circle. So they did stick together pretty well until now. Now they're trying to come apart, but that is okay because I'm going to glue them both down right in the middle there. And then I've got my silver hubcap. And then this would go right in the middle there. So let's go ahead and add some adhesive to the back and put it in place. Next, we have the same piece that was the hood ornament in the front is now going to go on the back of our car as our hitch. I think that's what that one's called. So it's a little hitch. If they were wanting to haul anything, like a U-Haul or a boat or something like that, they'd be able to hitch it to the back of the car. So we've got that. And then I can put my little license plate right over the top of that over that spare tire, which means you really aren't going to see the hubcap. That's what it is. Not really going to see much of the hubcap, but that is okay too. So let's go ahead and try to get that kind of sort of centered. Okay, so here we go. And now that same piece looks like the back end of a car. That is too cool. All I need now is to put down the tail lights and the back of the car will be done. Okay, so there is the back of our little car. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add this. Since this has had time to dry, I'm going to add my little windshield. So we've got our little windshield there. So I'm going to turn it over, and then I can add a little silver out of the mirror cardstock again. My little silver mirrors, backup mirrors. Okay. So this is, we're now looking out the front window of our car, okay? Next, I'm going to add my, my dashboard. So other than that, we would just basically assemble the vignette part and then add any bits that we want to go on the inside. And what I've got for the inside is pretty much some people. We're gonna have some people in there. Also, I forgot, we've also got, this one is the back seat, and this one goes in the back right about there. Yes. So it's gonna show some, but it's not gonna show a ton. And actually it goes this way. So you're going to be able to see a little bit of the back seat. So just add a little bit of that adhesive and then tuck it back behind my car so that some of my people can have a place to sit. So how are you guys liking that so far? I am loving this. I don't know about you, but I am absolutely loving this. So before I start assembling all of my little peoples, the little arms and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and play with these extra pieces. Now these are the parts that make the vignette or the box. Okay, so each of the sides, we've got 2 dies, these 2, that you can do it separate, meaning just make a box, or you can do it with the slits so that you can have these support pieces that you could also add things to, you know, like a regular pop-up box card, right? So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to score the places and score and fold the places where there are some score lines here. I just want to make sure that those are burnished down. I'm doing that on both sides of this, and so that's going to be on the outside part of my card. I'll do the same thing for the matching one, because you do need 2 of these. And this is basically so that you can cause it to be a pop-up. Again, you don't have to use all of that. Actually, you could use just this much for the part of your car if you want to show where the car is going away, or this one if you want to show how it's heading towards you. You could basically use each of these pieces in so many different ways, and I just think that they're fun. So these pieces, these are the ones that I usually struggle with. You guys know I do sometimes struggle with getting those in there, but then again, you probably have seen that what I have done in the past is I have used mirror cardstock to try to do that, and of course that stuff does tend to bend. I'm also getting my craft knife just to help widen that gap just a little bit, just stretching it out a little bit. I'm not actually cutting the cardstock, but I did want to try this and see if it helps me to do it a little bit better. And this is going to be on the outside, so I need to slide my little piece through there. And something I didn't notice before is that there is also a little slit. See that? So when you get this in there and you slide it down just a little bit so it catches on the cardstock and tilt it up, it should go in without a problem. Let's see. Yeah, and it worked fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with all 3 on one side. I can't believe how fast and easy this is going this time compared to how I've done it before. Okay. Slide it into the slit and then pop it up a little bit, and then you've got that side of the box is all done. This still worked so much easier. Make sure it's in the slit. This worked so much easier now that I realize that that little slit is there, and the fact that I'm not using mirror cardstock for this part. So now my little box pop-up part is ready to go. It looks like it should be able to go right to the outside of these. So that's what I'm going to try for this time. And that side wasn't quite over far enough. So this is probably one of the hardest parts with doing a vignette, is figuring out exactly where to put everything. On the ones we've done before, it was pretty simple because it was just a tiny little sliver that you're doing. This one you do have to finagle it a little bit more because you've got the shape of the car that is so cool. Okay, so now we've got that in place. That is awesome. And now I need to put the other piece on too. which I am going to guesstimate. So it looks like it needs to be right about here. And making sure that it is standing up straight. And you could do this with double-sided adhesive. It would definitely hold it strong. However, if you have any trouble getting everything positioned the way you want it, it won't be very helpful. Okay, I'm going to put some adhesive on this side. This side's actually going together easier than the other side did, so that's awesome. Okay. Awesome. And by the way, guys, this is my first attempt at putting this together. I am doing that with you guys. It stands up perfectly fine. You've got your little pieces, horizontal pieces on there so that you can add different pieces to it. It looks great from the front, looks great from the back, and it stands up and it's actually pretty much straight. So that is super awesome. Okay, next I'm just going to put together some people, and what I decided to do, since I mentioned that it's going to be a road trip, I decided that I'm going to just do a bunch of girls. These girls are just going to go and they're going to be hanging out on the road, and they're going to go on a road trip because they haven't had a chance to. And how much you want to bet that they've got crafting supplies in the back? That's what I'm going to say anyway. So just taking one of the head and shoulders. Yeah, head and shoulders. That's funny. And taking one of the back of the hair and just putting that in place. Because all we really need to do is show as much as what's going to actually, all we need to actually do is assemble as much as going to be seen. So I'll go ahead and do the hair for all four of my ladies. Okay, so we've got the back of their heads done. Let's turn them around. And on the front, we've got some bangs going on. So I'll go ahead and add some bangs onto one of my blondes. And making sure it's kind of lined up with the top in the back too. And I think I want to twist it just a little bit. There we go. So there's one of my ladies. And then I also, the set comes with like the front of the bride's dress, and I just cut that out of some pattern paper. Well, some regular paper and some pattern paper, and I'm just going to add basically her bodice to the front of her body, so that it'll be fun. That way she has some clothes on. That's a good thing, right? Because you're not going to see any more of her in the card. And then what I have left is a bunch of arms. So I'm thinking they are having a blast, and many of them are going to be waving their hands in the air. Okay, but before I add on the first of the arms, let me go ahead and put one of these guys in the driver's seat. So yeah, I'm going to add my little blonde here into the driver's seat. I'm going to put the adhesive on her back and then adhere to the front of the first piece here. So there she is sitting in her convertible. Awesomeness. Give this a chance to catch, and then I can put the next one in. And I figured I'm going to put like a blonde and a brunette in the front and a blonde and a brunette in the back, and I think that'll work pretty good. And this one I'm also going to put that a little bit more glue under her hair, but put some adhesive on her back and then adhere her to this first layer here. And she is one that I had two different colors of pink that I'm using, so that the skin tones won't be all exactly matchy-matchy. So I'm going to add her waving with one of the darker pinks, because that's what she is. She's one of the darker pinks. I'm going to put her arm up so that she is like waving out the window. And looks like I need to adhere that to the back of her shoulder so that it looks kind of sort of natural. Okay, let me grab another one of her arms and do the same thing on the other side. I think our driver probably needs to stay somewhat contained, but that doesn't mean that her party guests on this road trip need to be, right? Of course, they could be going over a mountain and the others are probably yelling and screaming, ah! Yeah, this is going to be a fun road trip, not a scary road trip. So next I'm going to do this blonde, and I'm going to do the same kind of thing and go with the back. Put some of the adhesive on the back, on her back, and I think I'm going to put her on this back seat and a little bit off to the side so you can kind of see her a little bit better. Wrong. I wanted her to be on the other side. Blonde is going to be on the other side, so there's going to be like cross instead of being blondes on one side of the car and blondes on the other side and brunettes on the other. That's not really fair, so I'm going to put it this way instead. So you're going to be able to see her in the back. This also means you could put several more in here. I'm thinking you could put 3 people on each of the seats, on each of the tiers, so you could have 8 people in this car. It's a big convertible, isn't it? Okay, let me add this lady over onto this side and slide her over just a little bit more so you can see her a little bit. Only downside of that, it almost looks like they are avoiding each other in the back, but I'm going to say they've got all of their snacks and stuff in the center of the car. You know, the center of the seat is for all the goodies. Okay, so let's add arms onto our little blonde in the back. And this is one of the wonderful things about tweezers. My tweezers are basically being the part that is holding everything in place long enough for the adhesive to catch, you know? And luckily, my art glitter glue is awesome with that. Okay, so this one looks like that is probably the thumb. So I'll put this on the other side of her shoulder, or rather attached to her other shoulder. So now she is yelling, yay! Road trip! Okay, and then I've still got 4 arms left. These are the darker pink, so I'm going to add those to my brunette over here. There's one. And I think what I did is I think I may have actually given this other one up here like 2 right arms instead of a right and a left, because this one has the thumb on the wrong side. All because I didn't notice it before I started gluing things together. Nobody else is gonna know, but you guys know that I gave them. I had to turn this one around so that it would be that the thumb would be in the right spot. But it kind of looks like I've got 2 left arms, or 2 right arms rather. This is super cool. Okay, love it, love it. And then it says road trip on the back. Isn't that awesome? And yes, this will fit into an A2 size envelope. So let's give that one a shot. Oh, it won't. I probably have everything situated wrong. Why do I have things situated wrong? Well, I was wrong. This will fit into a mini slimline envelope. And I think I've got one of those up here. Yes, this will fit into a mini slimline envelope. I did not realize it was too big to fit into an A2, but yeah, this will fit into this little envelope. This is actually these are number 6 3/4, which is it's basically the right size for a mini slimline, and it's really just a small business envelope. Actually, I do recall when I was a kid mailing letters in this size envelopes. But yeah, it fits in there perfect, and then it comes out and we've got our ladies going on a road trip drive. That is just too cool. And since they're in their convertible, I bet they're heading off to the beach. Awesome. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This was fun to put together, and it really, really was my very first attempt at this one. You guys tend to see my first attempt at everything. So and I am getting better at doing the vignette style cards, and I'm learning little tricks along the way and being sure to share those with you. So if you want to see some more videos where not necessarily card videos, but if you'd like to see some more videos where I'm using Spellbinders products, be sure to check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day. And remember, if I can make it, you can too. Have a great day.